My name is Imogen Wood. I'm 33 years old. On February 13th, my 11-year-old daughter Violet came home from school. Her key didn't fit the lock. My own mother had changed it that morning. She left Violet standing outside in pouring rain for 5 full hours. At 8:30 that night, my mother finally opened the door and snarled, "A whore's bastard doesn't belong under this roof. Get your filthy mistake out of my sight." Violet looked up at her grandmother, rain streaming down her face, and whispered, "Mom, am I not Daddy's real daughter?" We left at 10 p.m., soaked, shivering, destroyed. 3 days later, my mother received 3 official letters. Then I woke up to 86 missed calls. They thought I was alone. They thought I was powerless because my husband was deployed overseas. They were wrong. What they discovered after those letters arrived destroyed them. Before I tell you what happened in those 3 days, please take a moment to hit like and subscribe and drop your location and local time in the comments. Now, you need to understand what we were before that Friday. You need to know what she took from us. Ethan and I met in 2012. I was 20, working at a coffee shop near Fort Carson. He was 23, fresh out of officer training. He ordered black coffee and left a $5 tip on a $2 cup. When I tried to give it back, he said, "Keep it. You smiled at me like I was a person, not just a uniform." We married in August 2013. I wore my grandmother's dress. He wore his dress blues. We were young and broke, and completely sure of each other. Violet was born the following June. Ethan held her first. I watched him count her fingers, trace the line of her nose, whisper promises I couldn't quite hear. Later he told me what he'd said. "I will keep you safe. Always." He kept that promise for 11 years. We bought our house in March 2018. 3 bedrooms, blue door, a maple tree in the front yard that turned gold every October. Violet picked out her own curtains for her room, purple with silver stars. She was 4 years old, standing in the hardware store aisle, pointing at them with absolute certainty. "Those ones, Mom, those are mine." The deed listed both our names, Imogen R. Wood and Ethan J. Wood. We signed the papers together. That house was ours, legally, financially, emotionally, ours. Ethan deployed twice before October 2025, 6 months in Iraq, 8 months in Afghanistan. Each time, we survived. Violet got older, started understanding what deployed really meant, started counting days on her calendar, crossing them off with purple marker. This deployment was supposed to be routine. Afghanistan, 6 months, October through April. Standard rotation. Expected return, late April 2026. The morning he left, Violet cried so hard she made herself sick. We drove to Denver at 4 a.m. The airport was cold and too bright. Ethan picked her up, held her like she was still small, whispered something in her ear that made her nod through tears. After he walked through security, she turned to me and said, "Daddy said to be brave, but I don't feel brave, Mom." "You don't have to feel it," I told her. "You just have to do it." She did. We both did. October passed in a blur of school routines and work deadlines. I'm a freelance graphic designer, work from home. Good money, flexible hours, but lonely when Ethan's gone. The house felt too big, too quiet. Violet struggled with bedtime. Every night, the same question. "When's Daddy calling?" "When he can, baby." "But when?" "Soon." The calls came irregularly. Afghanistan is 8.5 hours ahead. Security protocols limited his access. Sometimes we'd get 20 minutes on a scratchy video call. Sometimes just a text. "Safe. Love you. Tell Violet I'm proud of her." By early November, I was drowning, working full-time, parenting alone, managing the house, trying to keep Violet's spirits up while mine were sinking. When my mother called on November 3rd and offered to come stay, I actually cried with relief. "Let me help," she said. "You can't do this alone. I'll sleep in the guest room, help with Violet's school runs, cook dinner. Just temporary, until Ethan's back." I hesitated. My mother and I had a complicated relationship. She'd always been critical, always had opinions about how I raised Violet, how I managed my marriage, how I spent my money, but she was my mother, and I was exhausted. "Okay," I said, "come this weekend." She arrived November 7th with 3 suitcases. For 2 weeks, I thought I'd been saved. Patricia Caldwell, 59 years old. My mother, widow, retired bookkeeper. The woman who taught me to read, helped me with homework, held me when my father died. That woman moved into our guest room. A different woman emerged by December. The first 2 weeks were good. She cooked casseroles, picked Violet up from school, cleaned the kitchen every night. I caught up on work. Violet seemed happy. We Zoomed with Ethan for Thanksgiving. All 3 of us crowded around my laptop, my mother in the background waving. "You okay, babe?" Ethan asked me when Violet ran to get dessert. "Yeah, Mom's been really helpful." "Good, that's good." He looked tired, thinner. "I worry about you too." "We're fine. We miss you, but we're fine." That was November 24th. The last time I said those words, and believed them. December 15th, I was working in my office when I heard my mother in the garage. She was going through old boxes, she said, organizing. When I went to check on her an hour later, she was holding a photo. Her face had changed. "Who is this?" She held it up. It was from a design conference in Denver. March 2019. A group photo. 8 of us standing in front of a banner, holding certificates. Professional, innocent. "That's from a conference," I said. "Why?" "You never mentioned him." She pointed at a man standing 2 people away from me. "Mom, there are 8 people in that photo. It's a work event. You're standing very close to him. It's a group photo. We're all standing close. What are you implying?" She didn't answer. Just took the photo to her room. I found it later on her nightstand. The corners were bent from handling. Stared at. Something had shifted. By late December, her comments changed. Small things. "Violet doesn't look like us, does she? Strange how she has Ethan's mother's nose but nothing from our side. Do you think she'll grow up to look more like family?" I told myself she was just getting older. Maybe lonely. Maybe missing my father. I was wrong. January brought harder questions. "Were you happy before Ethan deployed? Did you ever think about other people? Marriage is hard. People make mistakes." I shut her down every time, but she kept pushing. February 5th, late evening. Violet was asleep. My mother cornered me in the kitchen. "Were you faithful to Ethan?" I stared at her. "What?" Simple question. Were you faithful? Of course I was. "Mom, what is wrong with you?" "I found that photo. You were alone with that man. There were 8 people at that conference. You were pregnant with Violet in 2014. That photo is 2019. But when were you really with him?" "I have never cheated on my husband. Ever." Her smile was cold. "Children don't lie. DNA doesn't lie." I should have asked her to leave that night. I should have seen what was coming. But she was my mother, and I thought I could fix it. I thought I could make her see reason. On February 8th, she called a locksmith. I was on a Zoom call with a client when the doorbell rang. My mother answered. I heard voices, tools, work being done. When I finished my call, I found her in the kitchen. "What was that?" "Locksmith. The locks were old. I had them replaced. For security." "You didn't ask me." "I'm telling you now. Don't I get a say in keeping this house safe?" "It's not your house, Mom." She smiled. "Isn't it?" The new locks were installed. She kept all the keys. Gave me 1 copy. Told Violet, I'll get you a new key next week, sweetheart. She never did. February 13th was a Friday. Violet had a spelling test that morning. She got an A. She came home excited to tell her grandmother. Her key didn't fit. I was at Mug's Coffee on College Avenue. Better Wi-Fi for client meetings. I had 3 back-to-back Zooms scheduled, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. I plugged my phone in to charge after the first call ended. Battery had dropped to 3%. I put it in my bag, started the second meeting. Violet got out of school at 3:20. 10-minute walk home. Safe neighborhood. She'd done it 100 times. She arrived at 3:30. It was starting to rain. She tried her key. It didn't work. She tried again. Nothing. She knocked on the door. Grandma! Grandma, my key isn't working. Silence. She knocked again. Grandma, it's me. Can you open the door? Nothing. She pressed the doorbell. 3 times. 4. 6. No response. Inside, my mother was sitting on the couch. Television on, volume up. She heard every word. Violet sat down on the front step. She pulled her purple backpack over her head, trying to shield it from the rain. She texted me. 4:14 p.m. Mom, my key doesn't work. My phone was charging in my bag. I didn't see it. 4:31 p.m. Mom, Grandma won't answer. I was explaining brand guidelines to a client in Portland. My screen was sharing slides. I didn't check my phone. 4:52 p.m. Mom. I'm still outside. The rain got heavier. Temperature 43 degrees. Cold for a child in a wet jacket. 5:18 p.m. Mom. It's really cold, I didn't see any of it. Across the street, June Anderson was coming home from grocery shopping. She's 68, retired teacher, lived there for 20 years. She pulled into her driveway, grabbed her bags, and froze. There was a child sitting on our porch steps, soaking wet. June walked across the street, holding an umbrella. Sweetheart, how long have you been out here? Violet looked up. Her face was pale, lips starting to go blue. Since I got home from school, Mrs. Anderson. June checked her watch. 6:18 p.m. Almost 3 hours. Where's your grandmother? Inside, but she won't answer. Come to my porch. Get out of this rain. I can't. My mom might come and not see me. June knocked on our door. Hard, official. Patricia. Patricia, your granddaughter is out here. The TV was clearly on inside. The volume was loud enough to hear through the door. No answer. June pulled out her phone. She took photos. 6:18 p.m., 6:23, 6:35. Each one time-stamped, each one showing Violet progressively wetter, more slumped. Then June made a decision. She called the police. Fort Collins Police. Non-emergency line? Yes, hello. I'm calling about a child who's been locked out of her house. She's 11 years old. She's been outside in the rain for almost 3 hours. Her grandmother is inside and won't open the door. The dispatcher's tone changed. Is the child in immediate danger? She's cold, wet. She's been out here since school ended. Address? June gave it. The dispatcher typed. We're sending an officer. Stay with the child, please. I will. Officer James Rodriguez got the call at 6:37 p.m. Priority 2. Urgent, non-life-threatening. Child welfare concern. He was 5 minutes away. He arrived at 7:15 p.m. Violet had been outside for 3 hours and 45 minutes. Rodriguez approached gently. Hi there. I'm Officer Rodriguez. What's your name? Violet. How long have you been out here, Violet? Since school ended, 3:30. He checked his watch. 7:17. Almost 4 hours. His jaw tightened. Is someone home? My grandma, but she won't open the door. Rodriguez knocked. 3 firm knocks. Fort Collins Police. I need you to open the door. Inside, my mother heard. She didn't move. He knocked again. Ma'am, I need you to open this door. There's a child out here who's been in the rain for 4 hours. The TV volume lowered slightly. Then a voice through the door. "It's a family matter. Go away." "Ma'am, this is a child welfare concern. I need to verify this child's safety. Open the door." "This is my house. Leave." Rodriguez called his supervisor. "Sarge, I've got a standoff. Adult inside refusing to cooperate. Child outside showing signs of cold exposure, requesting authorization to remain on scene." "Granted. Stay with that kid. I'm documenting this." June brought Violet a towel, hot chocolate in a thermos. Rodriguez stayed on the porch, body camera recording everything. At 7:46 p.m., my mother made a mistake. She parted the living room curtain, looked out, made direct eye contact with Violet, and smiled. Not a kind smile, not a worried grandmother smile. Satisfied, cold, pleased. Then she closed the curtain. Rodriguez saw it. His body camera captured it. So did our Ring doorbell. Later, his report would read, "Subject visible through front window. Observed juvenile for approximately 8 seconds. Subject's expression appeared satisfied, no distress evident. Subject made eye contact with juvenile, smiled, then deliberately closed curtain. Behavior consistent with intentional exclusion rather than misunderstanding." June saw it too. From her porch across the street, she watched my mother look at my daughter and smile. She took another photo. 7:46 p.m. evidence. At 8:20 p.m., I finished my final Zoom call. I packed my laptop, grabbed my phone from my bag. The screen lit up with notifications. 6 missed calls, 7 text messages, all from Violet. I read the first one. My stomach dropped. I called her immediately. "Violet?" "Mom." Her voice was breaking. "Baby, what's wrong? Where are you?" "I'm outside. My key didn't work. Grandma won't let me in. There's a policeman here." My blood went cold. "A police officer? Put him on. Right now." "Mrs. Wood?" A man's voice, calm, professional. "This is Officer Rodriguez, Fort Collins Police. Your daughter has been locked out of your residence since approximately 3:30 p.m. There's an adult inside who's refusing to allow her entry. Are you able to come home? I'm 12 minutes away. Please don't leave her." "I'm not going anywhere, ma'am. I drove 90 the whole way. I don't remember the drive. Just my hands gripping the wheel, my foot heavy on the gas, the rain on the windshield." I pulled into my driveway at 8:45 p.m. My daughter, sitting on our porch, soaking wet, shaking. A police car in my driveway. June Anderson standing on her own porch, watching, and my mother's face in our living room window, watching. I ran to Violet. She collapsed into my arms. "Baby, I'm so sorry." "Mom, am I not Daddy's?" The words came out in a whisper, broken, confused. The most devastating question I'd ever heard. "You are absolutely, 100% Daddy's daughter. Grandma is lying." Officer Rodriguez approached. "Mrs. Wood, I need to speak with you." He showed me his body camera footage on his phone, right there on my driveway. I watched my mother look through the window at Violet. I watched her smile. I watched her close the curtain. "Ma'am," Rodriguez said quietly, "what you're seeing is deliberate indifference. I'm filing a report. This is criminal." I tried the front door. Locked. "This is my house, mine and my husband's. We bought it in 2018. Our names are on the deed." "Do you have documentation?" "Inside. Everything's inside." Rodriguez took a full statement. Timeline, Patricia's behavior, the lock change, Violet's texts, June's witness account. He photographed Violet's condition: wet clothes, pale lips, shivering. At 8:32 p.m., before I'd arrived, my mother had done something even worse. She'd opened the door. Rodriguez had been standing there with Violet. Patricia looked at both of them, and she said, on body camera, on Ring doorbell footage, with a police officer as witness, she said. A whore's bastard doesn't belong under this roof. Get your filthy mistake out of my sight. Violet had whispered, Grandma, please. Your mother is a liar. You're not who you think you are. Then she'd slammed the door. Rodriguez filed his report at 9:15 p.m. Incident number 26-FC-8142. Child endangerment, verbal abuse of a minor, witness testimony. Body cam footage, ring footage, forwarded to CPS. The wheels of justice started turning. I couldn't get into my own house. My mother had changed the locks and had all the keys. So I did the only thing I could. I took my daughter, and I left. Hampton Inn on Mulberry Street. We checked in at 10:04 p.m. Room 203, 2 queen beds. The desk clerk saw Violet, wet, crying, small, and gave us extra towels without asking questions. I helped Violet into the shower, warm water, not too hot. She stood there, staring at the wall, not speaking. After, I wrapped her in a hotel robe that was too big. Her purple backpack sat by the heater, drying. I opened it. Her school papers, including a history project she'd worked on for 2 weeks, were completely destroyed, soggy, falling apart in my hands. My project. She looked at the ruined pages. 2 weeks of work. Gone. We'll redo it, baby. I worked so hard. I know. I'm so sorry. She sat on the bed, pulling the robe tighter. Why did Grandma do this? I had no answer. So I gave her the only truth I could. Something is wrong with Grandma. Something in her mind. But it's not your fault. None of this is your fault. At 10:47 p.m., she asked the question that broke me. What Grandma said? About me being a mistake? Is it true? No. Absolutely not. But why would she say that? I don't know. But I need you to hear me, Violet. Your father is Ethan Wood. He held you the minute you were born. He named you. He loves you more than anything in this world. You are his daughter. Do you understand? But Grandma said... Grandma lied. She believed me. But something in her eyes had changed. A kind of doubt that shouldn't exist in an 11-year-old. At 11 p.m. Colorado time, 6:30 a.m. in Afghanistan, I tried Ethan's sat phone. No answer. WhatsApp. Message delivered, but not read. He was probably on mission. Unreachable. I sent an emergency message to his family liaison officer, Captain Miller. Subject line: urgent. Emergency family situation. I explained everything: case number, hotel, contact info. Then I Googled Family Attorney Fort Collins Emergency. Brennan Law PC, 24-hour hotline for domestic situations. I left a voicemail at 11:34 p.m. My name is Imogen Wood. I need legal help immediately. My mother locked my 11-year-old daughter outside our house today for 5 hours in the rain. Then, she verbally abused her. A police officer witnessed it. We're at a hotel now because she changed the locks. But it's our house. Mine and my husband's. He's deployed. I need to know my options. Please call me. My voice cracked at the end. I sent one more message. To June Anderson, thank you for calling the police. Can you send me any photos you took? Her reply came 2 minutes later. Already sent to the officer. I'll send you copies tomorrow. Hang in there, honey. Violet finally fell asleep around midnight. She cried in her sleep. Daddy, where are you? I didn't sleep. I sat up, watching her, writing down everything that had happened. Every detail, every timestamp, every word Patricia had said. At 2:30 a.m., I climbed into bed with her, held her, whispered promises I hoped I could keep. At 6:17 a.m., my phone rang. I answered on the first ring. Mrs. Wood, this is Olivia Brennan. Tell me everything. I did. If you've ever been told you're imagining things, if you've ever had family turn on you, If you've ever watched someone hurt your child and felt powerless, this story is for you. Because what I learned is this: the truth doesn't need your voice to be loud. It just needs evidence. And sometimes that evidence is watching, recording, waiting. If you've survived something like this, you're not alone. Leave a comment if this resonates. Sometimes knowing we're not alone is what gets us through. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. I was sitting across from Olivia Brennan in her law office. Violet was in the waiting area with Olivia's paralegal coloring, hot chocolate, safe space. Olivia listened to everything, took notes, asked precise questions. Then she said 4 words that changed everything. "This is prosecutable." "What do you mean?" "Your mother committed multiple offenses: child endangerment, verbal abuse witnessed by an officer, unlawful exclusion from property you legally own." She leaned forward. "You and your husband own this house?" "Yes. Both names on the deed. We bought it in March 2018. "Then your mother has 0 legal rights." "0. She's a guest. The locks, the exclusion, the abuse, all of it is actionable." "What do I do?" "We document, we gather evidence, we send letters, and we prepare for CPS and police to do their jobs." She pulled up her computer. "First, that police report already went to Child Protective Services. They'll open a case today. It's Saturday, but officer witness testimony gets expedited. Second, I need to see the ring footage." I pulled out my phone, logged into the app. 47 motion-triggered clips from February 13th, 3:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., 38 minutes of footage total. Olivia watched key clips: Violet trying her key, pressing the doorbell, getting progressively wetter. June approaching, Officer Rodriguez arriving, and then, clip number 24, 7:46 p.m., my mother at the window, looking directly at Violet, smiling, closing the curtain. Olivia played it 3 times. "This is damning," she said quietly. "This shows intent. This shows she knew exactly what she was doing. This isn't a misunderstanding or an accident. This is deliberate cruelty." Then she watched clip 32, 8:32 p.m. audio and video. My mother's words: "A whore's bastard doesn't belong under this roof." Olivia paused the video, looked at me. "With an officer present." She said this with an officer present. "Mrs. Wood, your mother just handed us a prosecutable case on a silver platter." At 11:30 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. "Mrs. Wood? This is Denise Howard, Child Protective Services, Larimer County. I'm calling regarding a referral we received this morning from Fort Collins Police. Can we set up a meeting?" We met at 2 p.m. CPS office. Confidential interview room. Denise spoke with me first. Full timeline: Patricia's escalation. December photo. February 5th conversation. Lock change. February 13th. Then she spoke with Violet. Separately. Child-friendly room. Gentle questions. "What happened? How did it make you feel? Do you feel safe now?" Violet answered everything. Small voice, clear memory, consistent with evidence. Denise's assessment: substantiated child endangerment. Case number 2, 026-FC-0184. Investigation status: active. Your mother will receive a formal investigation notice on Monday. Denise told me, if she attempts to contact Violet, call me immediately. She won't get near my daughter. Denise nodded. Good. That afternoon, June Anderson drove to our hotel. She brought printouts. Photos time-stamped from 6:18 p.m. to 7:58 p.m. Violet getting progressively wetter. Patricia's silhouette in the window. A 3-page handwritten statement, signed and notarized. I should have called sooner, June said, her voice breaking. You called the police. You documented everything. You stayed with her. June, you saved her. She hugged me. Then she hugged Violet. "You're loved, sweetie. Don't forget that." Violet started crying. This stranger, this neighbor, showing more grandmother love than her own grandmother ever had. By Saturday evening, we had something else. Olivia's paralegal had contacted Secure Lock Services, the locksmith company. They faxed over the work order from February 8th. Work order number 4429. Customer name, Patricia Caldwell. Service, complete lock replacement. Property owner authorization, signed Imogen Wood. Except I never signed it. Olivia compared my real signature, from the deed, from my driver's license, with the one on the work order. Clear forgery, wrong letter formations, hesitant pen strokes. A handwriting expert consulted that evening confirmed it. Easily provable forgery. "That's identity fraud," Olivia said. "Class 4 felony in Colorado, 2 to 6 years prison." I felt nothing. No mercy, no sympathy, just cold certainty. Sunday, February 15th. I needed to reach Ethan. It had been almost 2 full days. I tried his sat phone again. 2 p.m. Colorado time, 11:30 p.m. Afghanistan. It rang. He answered. "Imogen?" The connection was scratchy. "I got Captain Miller's message. What happened?" I told him. All of it. 5 hours. Rain. Verbal abuse. Officer witness. Hotel. Attorney. CPS case opened. Long silence. Just static and breathing. "Say that again." I repeated it. Slower. Each fact. "Your mother called my daughter a whore's bastard." "Yes." "An officer heard this?" "Yes. It's on body cam. It's on ring footage." Another silence. Then his voice changed. Military steel underneath. "Where's Violet now?" "With me. Hotel. We're safe." "I hired an attorney, but Ethan, I need you to authorize emergency legal action. I need full authority." "You have it. Whatever you need. Whatever it takes." "I'm going to make sure she's prosecuted." "Good. I'm calling my CO right now. I'm getting emergency leave." "Ethan, I'm coming home, Imogen. I don't care what it takes." He spoke with Violet for 3 minutes. "Princess, Daddy's coming home. I love you so much. You are my daughter, always. Do you hear me? Always." Violet was crying. "When, Daddy?" "Soon as I can. Be brave for me." After we hung up, Violet asked, "Is Daddy really coming home?" "Yes. He's really coming home." For the first time since Friday, I saw hope in her eyes. Sunday evening, Olivia called. "We're ready. Monday morning, your mother receives 3 pieces of mail, 1 from me, 2 from official channels. Are you ready?" I've never been more ready. But there was a change. Olivia had arranged for a process server to deliver the attorney letter personally Saturday evening. "Wait," I said. "I thought Monday." "For the CPS and police letters, yes. Those are certified mail, Monday delivery. But my cease and desist is going via process server. Hand delivery. Tonight, 6 p.m. At 5:32 p.m. Saturday, process server Bradley Cooper, no relation to the actor, rang our doorbell. My mother answered. He identified himself, handed her the envelope. She had to sign. The letter was clear. Brennan Law PC Urgent Legal Notice, Cease and Desist. Patricia Ann Caldwell, you have unlawfully seized control of property you do not own. You endangered a minor child by excluding her for 5+ hours in inclement weather. You engaged in verbal abuse recorded by police. You forged a signature on locksmith authorization, constituting identity fraud. Vacate premises within 72 hours. Return all keys. No contact with minor child. Failure to comply. Eviction. Criminal charges. Civil suit. She signed for it. Confused. Took the envelope inside. We didn't know what happened after that. But Monday would bring more. Monday, February 16th. 2 more letters mailed certified, 9 a.m., expected delivery, 2 to 3 p.m. 1 from CPS, official investigation notice, case number, allegations listed, substantiated by officer witness and evidence, contact prohibited with minor child, 1 from Fort Collins Police, criminal investigation ongoing. Person of interest, Patricia Caldwell. Charges may be filed. Advised to seek counsel. I tracked the packages obsessively. Out for delivery at 10:30 a.m. On vehicle. Approaching destination at 2:28 p.m. Tracking updated, delivered. Signed by recipient. My mother had both letters. I turned my phone to silent, and I waited. 2:53 p.m. My phone lit up. Blocked number. I didn't answer. 2:59 p.m. Same number. Voicemail. Imogen, I just got some very upsetting letters. I think there's been a misunderstanding. Please call me so we can talk about this. 3:15 p.m. Again. Imogen, this is ridiculous. I'm your mother. Call me back right now. 3:40 p.m. Different number. Her landline. Imogen, they're saying I abused Violet. That's not what happened. You know that. Please. 4:17 p.m. Imogen, I'm begging you, please. I don't understand what's happening. 5:08 p.m. Fine, don't answer. But you're going to regret this. You're tearing this family apart. 6:30 p.m. Imogen, please, we need to talk. This has gone too far. 7 p.m. I blocked her number. She switched to calling from other numbers. Friends' phones? Neighbors? 8:45 p.m. Imogen, just tell me what you want. I'll fix this, please. 9:34 p.m. They're saying I could go to jail. That can't be right. You wouldn't do that to your own mother, would you? 11:02 p.m. I raised you. I fed you. I loved you. And this is how you repay me? By midnight Monday, she'd called 62 times. I hadn't answered once. Tuesday morning, 12:03 a.m. Imogen, I know you're getting these messages. You can't ignore me forever. 1:15 a.m. Your father would be ashamed of you? 2:30 a.m. That child is probably not even Ethan's. You know that, don't you? 4:07 a.m. You're destroying our family over a lie. 6:30 a.m. Fine, I see how it is. You want war? You'll get war. 8:40 a.m. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Please call me back. 9:15 a.m. Imogen, please. By 10 a.m., Tuesday, the calls stopped coming from her number, but relatives started calling. Aunts, cousins, family friends. Your mother is very upset. What's going on? You need to call her back. Family forgives Imogen. I blocked every number. 86 calls total. 62 from Patricia, 24 from others. I listened to 0. At 11 a.m. Tuesday, Olivia called me. Emergency leave approved. Your husband's CO signed off this morning. Ethan's en route home. ETA, about 2.5 weeks. Travel time from Afghanistan. 2.5 weeks, 17 days, March 2nd. He's really coming? He's really coming. And Mrs. Wood? Your mother's attorney called me this morning. She got one. Some guy practicing since the 80s. Mostly does DUIs. He tried to negotiate. Said this was a family dispute and we should work it out privately. What did you say? I said, your client endangered a child and committed identity fraud. There's nothing to negotiate. Tell her to be out by Thursday or the sheriff will remove her. Thursday came, February 19th, 72 hours after the attorney letter. Patricia didn't leave. Olivia filed for emergency eviction with the sheriff. The house was in mine and Ethan's names. Patricia had no tenancy rights. The November email established temporary guest status. The sheriff's office processed it same day, Friday, February 20th. A deputy showed up at our house, knocked. Ms. Caldwell? You need to vacate this property immediately. Patricia opened the door. This is my daughter's house. No, ma'am. Property deed lists Imogen Wood and Ethan Wood as sole owners. You have no legal right to be here. You've been given notice. You need to leave now, or I'll place you under arrest for trespassing. She packed 3 suitcases, same ones she'd arrived with in November. She got in her car, drove away. I didn't see it. Olivia sent me a video the deputy recorded. Proof of removal. February 20th, 3:17 p.m. She was gone. That question children should never have to ask if their own grandmother hates them. That haunted me. If you're watching this and you have a child, hold them a little tighter today. Tell them they're loved exactly as they are. Tell them they belong. And if you were that child once, if someone made you question your worth, your identity, your place in the world, it wasn't your fault. You deserved better. You still deserve better. If this is hitting close to home, I see you. We still couldn't go home. The house needed to be secured. Locks changed. CPS wanted a home visit before Violet returned. There were protocols. We stayed at the hotel. Violet went back to school Monday, February 23rd. Olivia arranged for CPS to notify the school. Patricia was not allowed on campus. The principal put it in writing. Security briefed. Violet was quiet at school. Her teacher called me. She's withdrawn, not talking to friends. Should I be worried? She's been through something traumatic. She's in therapy now. Can you just watch her? Of course. We'll take care of her. The therapy started Tuesday. Dr. Rachel Foster, child psychologist, trauma specialist. Violet went twice a week. She didn't tell me what they talked about. Dr. Foster said that was normal. She needs a space that's just hers, where she can process without worrying about you. Trust the process. I did. What choice did I have? February 26th. Olivia called with an update. District Attorney reviewed the case. They're filing charges. What charges? Child endangerment. That's a Class 2 misdemeanor in Colorado, but given the circumstances, officer witness, duration, weather conditions, they're discussing upgrading to a Class 6 felony, which carries up to 18 months. And identity fraud. That's a Class 4 felony, 2 to 6 years. When? They're drafting the charges now. Expect filing by mid-March. Arraignment will follow. Then preliminary hearing, probably late March or early April. March 2nd, 4:30 p.m. Denver International Airport, Terminal A. Ethan walked through the arrival doors in civilian clothes, backpack slung over one shoulder. 17 days of travel. Afghanistan to Qatar, Qatar to Germany, Germany to Maryland, Maryland to Denver. He looked exhausted. Thinner. Older. But he was home. Violet saw him first. She ran. Full sprint across the terminal. He dropped his bag and caught her. Held her like she was small again. She sobbed into his shoulder. Daddy's home. He whispered. Daddy's home, princess. I'm not leaving. I reached them. He pulled me in with his free arm. We stood there, the 3 of us, holding each other in the middle of a busy airport. People walked around us. We didn't care. You okay? He asked me quietly. I am now. March 5th, Thursday. We changed the locks. Ethan and I stood on our front porch with a locksmith. Different company. Verified this time. We watched him install new hardware. Front door. Back door. Garage entry. When he finished, he handed us the keys. Ethan gave one to Violet. This is your house, sweetheart. This key fits. Always. She held it like it was precious. Can I try it? Go ahead. She put the key in the lock, turned it. The door opened. She looked up at us, tears streaming. It works, Daddy, it works. It always will. We walked inside. Our house. Finally ours again. The Ring doorbell was still there, still recording, but now it meant something different. Not just evidence. Protection. A guardian that had saved us when we needed it most. March 16th. The DA filed charges. Count 1. Child endangerment resulting in risk of injury. Class 6 felony. Count 2. Identity fraud. Class 4 felony. Count 3. Criminal trespass. Class 2 misdemeanor. Patricia's arraignment was scheduled for March 24th. She pleaded not guilty. Her attorney argued it was a misunderstanding and a family disagreement blown out of proportion. The judge reviewed the evidence package: ring footage, body cam, witness statements, forged signature analysis, CPS report, police report. The judge set bail at $10,000. Preliminary hearing scheduled for April 15th. Patricia posted bail. I don't know how. I didn't ask. She wasn't allowed within 500 feet of us. Protective order issued. No contact, no calls, no messages, no third-party communication. We didn't see her, didn't hear from her. She existed only in legal documents. April 15th. Larimer County Justice Center. Preliminary hearing. The purpose: determine if there's enough evidence to proceed to trial. We attended. Violet didn't have to. The protective order meant she wouldn't be forced to see Patricia. But I needed to be there. Ethan came with me. The courtroom was small. Patricia sat at the defense table with her attorney. She looked older, smaller. She didn't look at us. The prosecutor presented the evidence. Officer Rodriguez testified. He described arriving on scene, finding Violet outside, Patricia's refusal to open the door, the window smile, the verbal abuse. In your professional opinion, Officer Rodriguez, was this accidental or intentional? Intentional, no question. She had multiple opportunities to correct the situation. She chose not to. And when she finally opened the door, her first words were verbal abuse. The prosecutor played the body cam footage. Patricia's voice filled the courtroom. A whore's bastard doesn't belong under this roof. Get your filthy mistake out of my sight. I watched the judge's face harden. Next. Ring doorbell footage. 47 clips edited into a timeline. Violet arriving, trying her key, sitting in the rain, getting wetter. Officer arriving. Patricia at the window, smiling. The defense attorney objected. Your Honor, we dispute the interpretation of my client's expression. Overruled. The footage speaks for itself. June Anderson testified. Described seeing Violet outside. 3 hours. Soaking wet. Calling police. Patricia's refusal to respond. The locksmith testified. Work order 4429. Signature comparison. I had no idea the signature was forged. I should have verified better. I take full responsibility for not catching it. The handwriting expert testified. Clear forgery, easily provable. Letter formations don't match. Pen pressure inconsistent. This was not written by Imogen Wood. The CPS caseworker testified. Interview with Violet. Consistent statements. No coaching detected. Child credible. Assessment. Substantiated child endangerment. After 3 hours, the judge announced her decision. I find sufficient probable cause to believe the defendant committed the offenses charged. This case will proceed to trial. Trial date, August 12, 2026. Bail conditions remain in effect. Protective order remains in effect. Patricia's attorney requested reduced bail. Denied. We walked out of the courthouse into April sunlight. Ethan took my hand. It's not over, I said. No. But we won this round. Will she go to prison? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. But she'll never touch Violet again. That's what matters. We drove home, with our keys, our locks, our safety. It's been 2 months since that February night. Violet still has nightmares sometimes. She wakes up crying, asking if the door is locked. Ethan or I sit with her until she falls back asleep. Dr. Foster says it's normal. Trauma doesn't heal on a schedule. But she's laughing again. She's sleeping in her own room, in her own house, with her own key on her keychain. She keeps it on a purple lanyard, takes it everywhere. Sometimes I catch her holding it, just holding it, like it's proof of something. It is. The trial is scheduled for August. I'll be there. Violet won't have to be. The evidence is strong enough without her testimony. The prosecutor promised me. We're not putting that child on the stand. She's been through enough. I don't know what the verdict will be. I don't know if my mother will go to prison. I don't know if she'll ever admit what she did. But I know this. Violet is safe. Ethan is home. And the three of us are together. The house feels different now. Lighter. The rain doesn't scare Violet anymore. We bought her a new purple raincoat and she wears it proudly. The Ring doorbell is still there. But now it's just a doorbell. The locks are ours. The keys are ours. The home is ours. Ethan extended his leave through May. Then he's transferring to a non-deployment position. Desk job at Fort Carson. Stable. Home every night. He told his CO, "My family needs me. That's where I belong." Violet's 12th birthday is coming up in June. She wants a small party. Just a few friends. Cake. Games. Normal kid stuff. We're planning it. Purple streamers. Silver balloons. She picked the theme herself. "Can Mrs. Anderson come?" Violet asked last week. Of course. June has become an unofficial grandmother. She comes over for dinner once a week, brings cookies, helps Violet with math homework, shows up for the moments that matter. "Your family," I told her last month. She cried. "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." My mother's relatives stopped calling. Some sent cards. Awkward, vague apologies for the situation. I didn't respond. Some sent nothing. That was fine too. Family, I learned, isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who stays, who protects you when it matters most. April 23rd. Violet came home from school with a new history project. The one she'd lost in the rain had been replaced with extra credit. Her teacher gave her an extension and bonus points for resilience. She got an A. She taped it to the refrigerator, right next to Ethan's military photo, right next to a drawing she'd made in therapy. A house with a blue door, 3 people standing in front, holding hands, purple stars above them. "That's us," she said. "That's our family." "Yeah, baby, that's our family." Last week, Ethan and I were in the kitchen after Violet went to bed. He was washing dishes. I was drying. "Do you regret it?" he asked quietly. "Pressing charges, going through all this?" "No, not for a second." "Even though she's your mother?" I thought about it. The woman who raised me. The woman who held me when my father died. The woman who locked my daughter outside and called her a whore's bastard. She stopped being my mother the moment she hurt our child. I don't know who she became, but she's not my mother anymore. Ethan nodded. Violet asked me something yesterday. What? She asked if it was wrong that she doesn't miss Grandma, that she doesn't want to see her again. What did you tell her? I told her feelings aren't wrong, that she gets to decide who's in her life, that nobody, not even family, gets to hurt her and keep access to her. That boundaries are love. Good answer. She said, "Then I don't want to see Grandma ever again." And I said, "Okay, you don't have to." We finished the dishes in silence. Then Ethan turned to me. "You saved her, you know. You saved our daughter." I just did what I had to do. No, you did what most people can't. You chose your child over your mother. That takes courage. I didn't feel courageous. I felt tired, sad, relieved, protective, grateful. 1,000 things at once. But mostly, I felt certain. I'd made the right choice. And I'd make it again 1,000 times. Here's the thing about evidence. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care who you are or what you think you deserve. It just exists. And when you've wronged someone, evidence has a way of finding the light. I'm telling this story not for revenge, but because someone out there needs to hear it. Someone needs to know that when family hurts you, you're allowed to walk away. You're allowed to protect your child. You're allowed to say no more and mean it. The hardest boundary I ever set was against my own mother, but it was also the most necessary. If you're being told, but they're family, remember, family is supposed to protect you, not harm you. And if they're doing the opposite, you're allowed to redefine what family means. This morning, Violet asked if she could plant something in the front yard. Like what? I asked. Flowers, purple ones, by the mailbox, so when people come over, they see something pretty. I think that's a great idea. We went to the nursery. She picked out petunias, purple and white. We planted them together, Violet, Ethan, and me, digging in the dirt, getting our hands muddy, laughing when Ethan accidentally pulled up grass instead of weeds. When we finished, Violet stood back and looked at them. They're going to grow, right? Yeah, baby, they're going to grow. She smiled. Good. I want people to know this is a good house now. I hugged her. It always was. We just had to take it back. The Ring doorbell is still recording. 47 clips a week probably. Motion triggered. Neighbors walking dogs. Mail carriers. Delivery drivers. June crossing the street to wave. And sometimes, late at night, I watch the old footage. February 13th. Not to punish myself, but to remember. To remember what could have been lost. To remember what was saved. To remember that when I thought I was powerless, I wasn't. I had evidence. I had witnesses. I had the law. I had a husband who moved heaven and earth to come home. I had a neighbor who cared. I had a daughter who deserved better. And I had myself. Calm, cold, controlled, precise. A mother who refused to let her child be destroyed. Clip 24, 7:46 p.m. My mother at the window, smiling, closing the curtain. I watch it, and I think, she forgot the cameras were watching. She forgot the neighbors were listening. She forgot that cruelty leaves evidence, and that evidence destroyed her. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for witnessing what happened. If you're in a situation where someone is hurting you or your child, please hear this. You don't owe loyalty to people who harm you. You don't owe them your silence. You don't owe them your presence. You owe yourself and your child safety. That's it. Subscribe if you want updates on what happens at trial. And most importantly, protect your peace. Set your boundaries. Choose your child over guilt every single time. You deserve a home where your key fits, where you're safe, where you're loved. Don't settle for less.